Together with Lori Lynn Green talk show is a positive way to start your day. Ready for some encouragement?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped. Let's let the healing begin.
Come be inspired, hear moving stories, even laugh out loud.
Can't make heads or tail of what I'm saying.
It's just incomprehensible.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You'll hear real people doing real things to make a real impact.
You are heroes every day.
Hear honest, compassionate, engaging issues you care about.
You see people come together to do good in our community, and the more we come together, the more good we can do.
Listen in and get started on redesigning your life and hear what's positive in Greater Manchester. Here's your happy host, Lori Lynn Green.
Good morning, friends in Greater Manchester. Welcome to In It Together. We are so glad that you've tuned in. If you'd like to find us on the web, you can go to inittogether.net, listen live, or to previous shows, even link to our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you like and follow us, you'll see we're bringing out the best in people to influence positive change in this community and beyond. Today is Personal Safety Day with Master Trainer of Defensive Strategies, Bob Boilard. And this morning we're going to be talking about home and vehicle safety. Now, some people will think that's just a no-brainer. Well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because sometimes a lot of what we know we don't really pay attention to. So I appreciate Bob bringing this topic because it's stuff we do every single day, and we want you guys to make sure that you're safe wherever you are. All right, so we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back right after this, so stay tuned.
Little Leapers and Knowledge Keepers Childcare and Preschool offers learning experiences that give kids a healthy sense of self and meaningful connections to the world around them. We teach children from a positive perspective so they learn healthy conflict resolution and develop character. Owner Jennifer Lever has over 28 years' experience in child development. She's helped children learn to read as young as 18 months. Join our happy place where we make happy happen, located in Pinardville, bordering Bedford and Manchester. Call today at 603-491-1780.
Hi, I'm Lori Lynn Green, Advancement Strategist and owner of AlphaAdvancementStrategies.com. I've been very successful at helping people overcome stressful situations to get immediate results in their personal and professional lives. At Alpha Advancement Strategies, we provide a non-judgmental and supportive environment, empowering clients to focus more on reaching their goals. You can find us on the web at alphaadvancementstrategies.com or call us at 603-860-9260. Alpha Advancement Strategies is where you invest in yourself.
Jen Lever, anchor of the Recovery Now segments. Join me Tuesdays at 9 a.m. where I offer support to families struggling with addiction. Hear personal stories, learn the signs of addiction, and get help for your loved ones. Only on In It Together with Lori Lynn Green.
Welcome back to In It Together. We are kicking off personal safety this morning. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fabulastic. That's a big word. That's in my dictionary. All of those of you, maybe we'll have that out for sale in the next few months.
I gotta look that up.
I come up with words, and I'm like, oh, I should have my own dictionary.
Yes, you should.
I've had what we call a virtual dictionary for probably, 15, 20 years. I always say that's going in my dictionary, but I don't actually have a copy yet.
Nice.
So
you should market that.
Yeah, I should market that. So this morning, obviously, this is personal safety. We want to welcome all those listening via internet radio and on the live stream. This morning's topic is SAFE, which is Second Amendment found. Tell me what SAFE stands for.
Situational awareness for everyone.
Okay.
Now you got bing. Now
light bulb moment.
Light bulb went off. Okay,
what was it? Dawn breaks over Marblehead.
Yeah.
All right. So situational awareness.
So the SAFE program is basically we have 6 different classes within the SAFE program. Including pepper spray. Modules for home and vehicle safety, church safety, active shooter, right? Basic self-defense, hand-to-hand kind of stuff, and a few others. So that's what the whole SAFE program
Right.
is about. It's basically non-firearms related, but situational awareness related. Okay, because you know yourself that 90% of this is preventatives. Okay, without having to react to a violent situation, we try to prevent crimes before they even happen.
I think that's
So-
the one thing that stands out to me with you. It's all about prevention, not engagement.
Of course, right.
And I think that is key, because a lot of people think, well, why would I do that? Because I'm not going to go looking for trouble. Well,
Right.
no kidding. But sometimes trouble finds
Yeah.
you. And we've talked about this many times, how often we just say, oh, you're overreacting. It'll never happen to me. But the statistics say otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you looked at, people think that, the chance of me needing a gun is 1,000,000 to 1. Well, when you really look at the stats, it's really not that high. So, especially
Right.
in this day and age where, there's crime around every corner, the stats are not against you anymore.
Right.
I mean, the stats are not with you anymore.
So I like to tell people at the start a little bit of background about you, Bob. First off, Bob is the owner of Defensive Strategies here in Manchester. He has a classroom right over here where I have had the honor of training with him. It was a few years ago where I started. I took several classes, got my certifications for range safety officer and for instructor, especially for women. I do a lot less instructing in the classroom, though. We have another friend that does a lot more instructing with him, a woman, for the women's classes. I guess I've fallen more on the promotion aspect of it, which is fine for me. I really believe in this. But you specialize in, it says here, personal protection and safety strategies for the entire family as well as the workplace.
Right.
Now, today specifically, we're talking about home and vehicle safety from your SAFE program. There are several different programs that you offer.
Right.
So we're actually, this is probably the third week we've been going through different aspects of that program and giving overviews.
Yeah, it's a good program. And,
Yep.
if you follow these things, you'll probably never become a victim or
Right.
subject to a home invasion or basically a personal attack. So.
And so Bob's background, maybe you can give a little bit. I always say this is as long as two arms, but basically.
Well, basically, I take a lot of classes.
He takes a lot of classes, but also you're the program director and national instructor for SAF Training Division. You're a training counselor. You're also a veteran of the U.S. Army, and you have a I'm not going to tell everybody all your job stuff, but you have worked on or taken classes through FEMA, Homeland Security,
Right.
FBI, things like that, so that you understand. You've also been a private investigator, so a lot of.
I'm part of the basically the InfoGuard program, which is collaborative between the FBI and the private sector, because most of the private sector is owned by, most of the infrastructure is owned by private industries. So.
Okay.
So we get a lot of training from them for free.
Right.
So I take advantage of that.
And you're what I call a PI, right? You've done some private investigation work.
Yeah, it used to be. No longer a PI. Just.
But the emphasis of your life, though, has been in safety, in all different aspects of safety, personal safety, and otherwise. So as we start off today's show on home and vehicle safety, what would you say? I don't know if you have your curriculum in front of you or not, or maybe you just know, but some of the basics that you would want people to know about, starting with maybe home, I guess.
Well, within the home, the first things that we want to, teach people to do is basically create those layers of protection. Okay, and those layers of protection basically start outside the home.
Yep.
Okay, with either a fence or whatever it is. I highly suggest lighting on the outside of the home. Right, not leaving things hanging around. Okay, like ladders and everything that they can use to gain entry to your house. Okay. Just being smart, okay? If your home looks like it's a total mess, it's probably going to become a victim, okay? That home is going to become a victim of a burglary or whatever it is, because it's just, like the way we carry ourselves, that if you look like a victim, you'll probably become a victim. Okay, so
Right.
if the home looks a little bit more hardened, it looks like it's in order and everything is okay, you probably won't become a victim. Okay. So again, our outside layers basically start with lighting. Okay, lighting is very important on all sides of the house. Okay, our door locks. Okay, everybody thinks that our door locks are so great. Okay, and all they do is keep the honest person honest. Okay, because with the $5 bump key, you can get into just about 95% of the homes in America. All right, so we want to pay attention to our locks on the outside of the house. Okay, especially on doors, with windows and stuff like that. The decorative
Right.
doors. All right, taking those little 1-inch screws that they give you with your locks and replacing them with 3-inch locks. 3-inch screws. Okay, that actually go into the studding of the house. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do on the outside. Okay, even fake cameras. Okay, or real cameras if you
Right.
can afford them. Okay, but you can go to Amazon and buy these real looking cameras for $20. All right, and
Well, we have real cameras. Anybody that wants to, feel free to come over here. You will regret it. No, I was kidding. It's like Fort Knox here, which is kind of good. But one of the things I was thinking about is, to help people envision this. Okay, so we're walking up to our house. One of the things that I was thinking about is a lot of people have shrubs around their home. Now, you talked about a fence, which is kind of just another border
it's a barrier.
of.
Yeah.
It's another deterrent of, am I going to choose that house because
Right.
they're choosing an easy target, right?
Mhm.
So what about
Well,
like,
that's what it is. They're choosing the easier target. Okay, and if your house doesn't look that way, then they probably won't choose your house.
yeah, and so that's why people would say, well, why fake cameras? Well, because it's just, they don't know.
It's just another deterrent, another layer of protection.
Real cameras
Okay.
are better, but I mean,
And
if
these layers of protection are, one, to deter people, two, to give you time to get into your safe room. Okay. Because the days of dad going downstairs to see who's in his house is probably long gone.
Right.
Dad goes downstairs with a gun or a broom or whatever it is, like they show in the movies, right? What happens to dad? Okay, he doesn't know how many people are in his house, where they are, whether they have firearms or other weapons. Okay, there's a high probability that dad, something is going to happen to dad when he goes downstairs because he has the disadvantage in his own home. Okay, whereas if dad barricades him and his family into a safe room, then he has the tactical advantage in his own home.
okay, so you've
And
mentioned
that's what you need to do is turn it around on them.
right. You've mentioned a few things, and so I kind of want to go into a little bit more detail on some of these things as we're talking about home this first segment.
Yeah.
You talked about fencing. Obviously, you want to have a fence. Obviously, you don't want to have any openings in your property if you can't. But even if you have to have a section of it, it's still a determinant where there might be a more walkable path.
Yeah,
or main road, things like
especially on the street side. It's always a good thing to have because it is a physical barrier, okay, that between you and the street, okay, and yeah, is it going to stop? Most people probably not. Okay, if it's only 3 feet, but it's psychological. Okay, there is a barrier between me and the house. Okay, so that psychological factor right there is going to deter people. It really is.
Right.
So
the fence is one thing, and the same with the shrubs. Now, be more specific with that because I've heard you talk about that too.
Well, yeah, you want to keep those cut down to the point where they really can't hide behind them.
Because
Okay.
you want to be able to see.
Yeah, because as cars go by, they won't be able to hide from, and cars, driving by will be able to see them if they're, not able to hide behind a shrub.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do want to have shrubs in the front, try to get some ones that hurt, like thornberries,
Picky
and,
ones?
roses, that kind of, picky ones, exactly. All right. They tend not to lie in those.
So even criminals have a code of honor. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
not a
okay.
code of honor for sure.
Little things like keeping knickknacks on your windowsill. Okay.
Okay.
That's people don't think about that, but when a criminal basically opens your window, he has to either brush them all aside, so that they all fall on the floor and break. Okay, or he's got to take the time to remove each one.
Right.
Okay, so it's it adds more time to him, right? It gives you more time, especially if you're home, to get into a safe room. So again, it's all about deterrent and early warning systems.
Right.
Okay.
Now you've talked about that, but also there are certain kinds of things you can put on your windows too, like they have window alarms and things like that. If somebody was to open them.
Yes, I mean you can obviously if you can afford to get an alarm system, then obviously do get the alarm system, because that is a big deterrent. Okay, if you don't have an alarm system or you can't afford one, buy a sign that says you do. Again,
That's a good idea.
criminals don't know. Okay, whether you have one or not, but you have a sign that says one. So again,
Right. So I actually have a comment. There's a couple of comments. One is people are saying good morning. So we say good morning to everybody. Those of you tuning in, welcome. We're glad that you're here. A comment from a woman named Stacy. She says, this is the hope to deter the homeless from camping on properties, or is this specific to criminals? I think this is specific to criminals.
It's pretty,
Yeah, to criminals. Thank you for your question.
Even though the
Stacy.
homeless do become criminals sometimes, and try to break in, but doing all of this stuff will probably prevent that.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking about that demographic, that's mostly more in the inner city and stuff. So this show is probably for all people who wherever they live. So it's not just that. As we're talking about deterring types, you said put lights out. Now, what kinds of lights? I know people like, oh man, I'm not handy. I can't run a wire. There's other ways, right?
Well, there's some really good options nowadays, especially with the LED technology and everything else. You can put lights on all sides of your house using basically a photocell and motion sensors. Okay, I mean you go to Amazon and you'll see these LED lights. I've got them all over my house. Okay, where they will sense somebody moving in the yard and come on, and they will either stay off or just at half power when it doesn't detect motion. Okay, and the thing about motion detectors is that criminals don't know if someone actually turned on the light or if it was a motion sensor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so again, another psychological thing that they have to deal with. Okay, so but I highly suggest having lighting on all sides of the house.
Now the other thing that we've talked about, there's a couple more that I want to cover, is we see this all the time in the spring. The weather's nice, everybody's outside, maybe out in the backyard, and they leave the garage door open.
Oh yeah, that's pretty typical.
But that's really a way in. That's like an invitation, right?
Right. Yeah, and what they don't understand is that these people are so brazen now that they will walk right into your house, okay, while you're home. Okay, if you leave the door open, they'll try to do it. Okay, because they are desperate, looking for things that they can steal and sell to buy drugs. Okay, as the opioid situation gets worse. Okay, this property crimes get worse also.
Well, this
and sometimes these property crimes end up to be violent crimes because you're home.
Now, Bob and I are very sympathetic to the opioid crisis. We've both been touched by this one way or another. But what I think the point he's making is the statistics show that as the opiate crisis and the drugs and stuff become a greater problem, it just goes right along with it. Crime goes along with it because people get so desperate. They do things that they wouldn't normally do. We talk about it on Tuesdays with Jen. Her son, she tells the story of how he would lie and steal and things. But thank God he's free from all of it now after many years. So he's in recovery. So we're grateful for that. The last part before we close out this segment, though, is when we're leaving our home. Say you're going on a weekend away or a vacation or something like that. how do we secure that in a way where it's not, okay, the lights are off at night, everybody knows you're gone? I mean,
Yeah.
what would you suggest people do when they leave their home?
Well, one is go out and buy some timers and put lights on these timers. Timers are really really nice nowadays. They're very programmable. You can set different times or different days, or multiple times during the day. All right, so make a history of who's in the house in the week prior. All right,
Right.
so that now you can set up the timers so that it makes it look like everybody
Kind of scattered.
yeah, nothing has changed. Okay, everybody's home. Okay, park somebody's car in the driveway. Okay, make it look like somebody's home, or have your neighbor come and park in your driveway. Okay, obviously we want to stop the mail and any newspapers or anything that you have delivered.
Or have your neighbor pick it up, or someone get it for
Right.
you, or
Yeah.
which wouldn't be
So
a bad
don't
idea.
forget, don't forget to set your alarm. Okay, and this is people who actually do have alarms. Okay, never use them. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And they don't use it, or they don't use them when they're home. Okay, because and mostly because of pets. Okay, they're afraid that the pets are going to set them off.
Mhm.
Okay, if you do have an alarm, use them.
Yeah.
Even when you're home, every alarm system has a stay button and an away button.
Mhm.
That's what those two buttons are for.
And they've actually made them so much easier to use.
Oh
now,
yeah,
so
yeah,
there's really
and
no
and they
excuse.
have very pet friendly motion sensors now, so you don't have to worry about your pets setting them off. If you're worried about that, call your alarm company, and just have them replace your motion sensors in the
Right.
house. Okay,
Right, that
because
sounds good.
yeah, very easy.
All right. I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short break here. We
Yeah.
need to take a short break. Please support those who support us, and we'll be back right after this brief message. Stay tuned.
Mark Major knows that great coaches need constant training to be effective. As a certified coach, teacher, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, Mark can help you identify and activate your personal and professional goals. If you seek to do more and be more, look up Mark on the web at johnmaxwellgroup.com/MARC-major or call 603-674-6818. Mark Major, growing leaders and adding value. CrossNet Inc. offers computer and IT services for commercial clients as well as local personal users. We create tailor-made plans for your business's unique needs, from computer repairs to managing networks, servers, and desktops. CrossNet Inc. offers managed services, data backups, virus protection, web filtering, and more. For more information, go to crossnetinc.com or call for your personalized IT services today at 603-589-2520. CrossNet Inc. IT services that keep your business running when you're on the run.
Morgan Self Storage has been serving Manchester and Salem, New Hampshire for over 15 years. Facilities are heated with security and video surveillance in well-lit hallways, easy access loading, and high-capacity elevators. With many-sized units, portable trailers, and boxes for moving, we can meet your residential or business storage needs. 400 Bedford Street in Manchester or 8 Willow Street in Salem. Visit morganstorage.com or call us at 603-623-2000. Morgan Self Storage, making self-storage secure, safe, and easy.
Hi, this is Lori Lynn Green, Advancement Strategist and Coach Trainer at alphaadvancementstrategies.com. Join me Mondays at 9 a.m. where I'll talk about ways to help keep you moving forward in life. Only on In It Together with Lori Lynn Green. Welcome back to In It Together. We are in the midst of personal safety, talking about home and vehicle safety. We covered home in the first segment. We're going to talk about vehicle safety, and we're talking about personal safety in your vehicle. Correct, Bob?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
What else would we be talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. So now, again, we're talking about Bob has what we call a SAFE program, SAFE, which is an acronym for
Situational awareness for everyone.
And so
Right.
there are different sections of that. We're doing home and vehicle safety today.
Different modules. And
Different-
each one of these modules are about 4 hours. So
Of course, we're doing an overview.
Yep.
So the first thing, obviously, when we're getting ready to take a ride in our car, we say this about everything. Situational awareness is probably the biggest asset that we have if we're aware.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about that.
Stops a lot of crimes, right? Well, a lot of crimes are prevented just by paying attention to what's going on around you. Okay, the four parts to a crime, like I've said many times on here, is first is the selection stage, the stalking stage, where they're going to firm up their decision that they gonna attack you. And then the next stage after that is the planning stage of when they decide when they're going to attack you.
Right.
Okay, and that's one of the problems, is that we don't get to decide, is they do. Okay, they get to decide when and where. Okay, so if we can stop the crime in any one of those three sections before the crime actually happens, then we're much better off. Okay.
Okay.
Now
So
each one of those little sections of that 4 stages of a crime can be anywhere from 30 seconds to a year.
let's start off. Let's start off with the
So,
first section, though. When we talk
Yep.
about the 4 parts of a crime, tell us about the selection process for, say, somebody
Well,
who's a predator.
Criminals are going to select people who are unaware. Okay, they're looking for easy targets. Okay, they're looking for someone that they can surprise, someone they can overpower, or whatever it is. Okay, because they don't want to get hurt, they don't want to get caught. Okay, so they're looking for easy targets.
Example:
Okay.
Ted Bundy.
Okay, Ted Bundy was a master. Okay, he is the most prolific, serial killer of all time. Okay, and he was very charismatic. He could talk his way into a house very easily. Okay, because when he talked, people actually trusted him, right off the bat, and we can't do that. Okay,
Right.
Trust is earned; it's not given. Okay, and Bundy would basically pretend like he needed help or something like that. He was had a broken leg, and as soon as he got you in a vulnerable situation, he would pounce. Okay, put you in the back of his truck or whatever, right? So he always tried to separate you from the crowd. Okay, he could talk. He did the UPS thing. Okay, where he got a UPS uniform and got his way into your house. Okay, he did everything. He was
Premeditated.
he knew.
Yeah,
he knew how to do it.
And so this is what we're trying to protect people from is, we did a whole show a couple weeks ago on how your kindness can be used against you. I recommend everybody go and watch that because we are taught to be kind, to love people. And we're not saying not to, but when it comes to situational awareness, it's knowing when, and all the rules go out the window when you're in a situation.
Another thing that we're taught and brainwashed from the beginning when we're growing up is not to use violence. Okay, to be nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And violence is one of the best tools that we carry for self-defense. Okay, not that we're going to use it on a regular basis, but we are going to use it if we need to, because if we're trying to save our lives and we don't carry any other tools, okay, violence is all we got that we carry around 24/7.
Right.
We need to use it, and it's a very effective tool. Okay, but again, you need to understand that once someone is trying to kill you, there are no rules. All right, everything's out the window. Cheat if you have to. So,
and I said this, and I give people permission. I said this when, as a good Christian woman, you're taught, things shouldn't come out of your mouth. But I'll tell you, in a situation, you have to do whatever you can and say whatever you have to make them know that you mean it.
Yep.
And that means you become someone maybe that you normally aren't.
Right. And sometimes right there, that's enough.
Yeah.
Because again, they don't want to be identified. They don't want to be hurt. Okay?
And you're not making it easy.
Right. And if you put up a fuss like that, it could very well just say, "Hey, I'm all right. I'm out of here," because he doesn't want the trouble.
Yep.
It happens a lot.
Yep.
Okay.
So the next one, you said there are 4 parts of crime. First was selection. Next is the stalking aspect.
Stalking stage. Yeah, that's when he's going to basically watch you and decide whether he made the right decision to attack you or not. Okay. And again, that stalking stage can be anywhere from you know, 30 seconds to a year. Okay, some of these guys are very patient. They'll watch you. They'll you know, write down exactly the time of day that you're going jogging every day. They'll write down. Okay, so they know your complete life history.
So we saw this poor
and
woman.
they know exactly where to find you on a certain day
Right.
at what time, because we as humans we like our routines, because we fall into those routines very nicely.
We want to change them up.
Right. So
We don't want to be that predictable.
Right, exactly.
So the other thing is, was it a year or so ago, there was a woman in the North End who you worked at the Union Leader, and she used to jog regularly up on the North End.
Right.
Anybody that was watching her would have known what time she would be jogging every day. Unfortunately, it ended her life.
Yeah. Is that the one that was working for the newspaper?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't
They
think
still don't know what
I don't
happened.
think she was jogging. She was walking every day. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, they still haven't found her
Change
killer.
up your walk routine, your jogging routine, whatever.
They
you're
still haven't
doing.
found her killer. So.
Yeah. So that's an important part.
So-
And I think it's interesting that you said the length of time can be anywhere from 30 seconds to
Yeah.
who knows how long. It could be.
And then, of course, the planning stage after that. Okay, the planning stage is going to be when, how, and where. Okay, and we don't get to choose any of those. Okay, the criminal does. All right, so that's why we need to be aware of our surroundings. Okay, we need to be ready when it happens. Okay, so
Right.
and if you do everything that the SAFE program teaches, that probably never happened to you. Right, because most likely during the stalking stage, he's going to decide this is not the right mark. Okay, this
Right.
is not someone I want to mess with, because she could either hurt me or make trouble for me.
Right.
So again, a lot of it is in how you carry yourself. Okay, if you carry yourself with confidence and you're in charge of your life, you probably never be a victim. All right. So I mean, if you go and you ask these criminals, okay, and they've done this many times, how they select their victims, it's not
Right.
rocket science. It really isn't. So
It's one of the things I like about all the classes you teach have an element of the situational awareness. And a lot of things seem to be common sense, but I know when I took one of your classes, that's one of the first classes I took, I realized how much I may know things, but I'm not really paying attention to them.
Right.
And I think there's a real big difference between knowing something and actually implementing what you know.
exactly, you got to
Yeah.
apply it.
Yeah.
Okay, and this, when you start thinking like this, and when you start thinking situational awareness, or you start carrying a gun for personal protection, or other tools such as pepper spray and stuff, right? It really is a lifestyle change. Okay, it's not going to cost you a great deal of money. It's just going to cost you a little bit of time.
Right.
Okay, but along with that extra little time that you put into situational awareness is going to come an additional amount of safety,
Right.
and that is priceless. You can't
and
you
so
can't put it any other way.
These safe training classes also, they give you some tools. We did a class, we did a show last week about empty hand.
Yeah.
What was it called? Empty hand
Just some empty hand techniques. Yeah.
techniques,
Okay,
so that
when
you don't have
when
to
you
have.
can't get to that gun, what do you do?
Well, and the other thing is we've talked about, firearms are a tool of last resort. There are a lot of other things. You can pepper spray, batons. There's a lot of other things. Your keys, but these classes can actually help you
Right.
to be better prepared. It's better to have a plan if something happens rather than not have any plan, because what happens when the adrenaline starts to pump, Bob?
Right.
What happens?
Well, a lot of things happen is, your brain basically diverts all your blood to your major organs, which means that your fingers and your limbs don't work very good. You get time dilation, your air is shut off, you get all kinds of things happen that your own body is doing to you.
You can't think
Okay.
straight. They put you in a state.
You have
of-
you can't count, you have adrenaline rush, you have a high pain threshold. There's a lot of little things that your body is going to do to you in a high stress situation that people just don't even think about. Okay. And that's why a lot of people just pass out, because they have no way to process what is happening to
Right.
me. Okay, they never thought
Right.
about it before in their lives, and they just can't process it, so that they forget to breathe for one, and then they pass out.
Yeah, so this is
Right?
why
So exactly what we don't want you to do.
this is why, like, when you take the classes, it gives you a plan, it gives you confidence. So if you're in a situation, you at least have something where you can learn how to handle the stress of it.
Right.
And then, you can always deal with that later, but
Yep.
you deal with the situation and then maybe deal with that later.
Yeah. And, this is all part of the training is, we teach you about all this stuff, even after the fact. Okay. We even talk about things that after the fact where you may have taken somebody's life. Okay. And
After an incident.
all the emotions that you're going to go through and all that. And, so, we cover there's a lot of aspects to this stuff that people just don't realize.
Well, nobody wants to hurt someone or
right.
take their life, but in a
Well,
situation where you have
what
to.
people want are the cool things, jumping over the Bay Hills with their guns and stuff like that. They don't think of the real life implications of this stuff.
Right.
Okay. And that's what defensive strategies focuses on, the real life situations. It's going to save your life in a real situation.
Yours or someone else's.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we like the cool stuff too, but most of them are not practical. You're probably never going to
Right.
shoot through the windshield of your car to save your life.
We're talking
Ever.
about the difference between a civilian and maybe someone who's ex-military or
Right.
tactical or something like that, which we're more on the civilian side.
Right.
of things,
Civilians
everyday life.
civilians should be going the opposite way from gunfire versus, military and law enforcement run towards gunfire.
Right.
Okay. Civilians need to be going the other way. Okay.
Right.
We are teaching civilians how to stay alive in violent situations and how to prevent those violent
and
situations.
its prevention is
Right.
the focus.
So,
Well, that's very good, Bob. We are actually pretty much out of time, so
All right.
I want to give you closing statement and give some contact information.
all right, you can find us at defensivestrategies.org or call me directly at 603-566-1727. See you next week.
All right, that's great, Bob. Thank you. Tomorrow you can join us for Friday. I'm actually not even sure who's going to be here. Usually we have a business or community segment. Maybe that's you. I don't know. Give me a message. We'll be back right after this. Actually, we're not. We're over. So I'll talk to you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Be here or be square. Have a blessed day. And remember, we're in it together.
Be here or be square.